In the summer of 1997, underwater microphones built to hunt Soviet submarines picked up something no one could identify. A sound so powerful it was detected across more than 5,000 kilometers of ocean. If a living thing made it, it would have to be louder than a blue whale, the loudest animal on Earth. It came from the most remote stretch of ocean on the planet, and for years nobody, not the Navy, not the scientists listening, could say what made it. The microphones belong to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. When the Cold War ended, arrays once tuned for enemy propellers were turned over to science, strung across the equatorial Pacific to listen for earthquakes, eruptions, and whales. That summer, the same low-frequency signal rose out of the noise again and again. On a spectrogram, it looked organic, a sweeping curve, almost like a call. The acousticians gave it an unscientific name, the Bloop, and the bearings pointed into the emptiest waters on Earth, the remote South Pacific around Point Nemo, the pole of inaccessibility, the farthest place in the ocean from any land. So remote that at times the nearest human beings are astronauts passing overhead on the International Space Station. Now imagine you're the scientist holding that spectrogram. The contour sweeps like a whale call, but a blue whale's song, the benchmark for biological sound in the ocean, has never been heard at anything like this range. NOAA's acousticians were careful. They never even assigned the Bloop a decibel figure, but the implication hung in the air. If something alive made this, it would have to be bigger than anything science has ever described. And here is the uncomfortable truth. You can't rule that out from your desk, because more of Mars has been mapped in high resolution than our own seafloor. For NOAA's acoustics team, led by Christopher Fox, this became a fork in the road. Unknown giant animal is the headline the world wants. But the data whispered something else. Follow the myth, and the credibility of the entire listening program goes with it. Follow the data, and you have to prove the ocean itself can outshout every living thing in it. The answer was hiding at the bottom of the world. As NOAA planted hydrophones closer to Antarctica, they kept recording sounds with the Bloop's exact signature. And this time, they could see the source. Not a creature. Ice. When a shelf of Antarctic ice fractures, the crack rips through the frozen mass and releases acoustic energy on a scale no animal can match. An ice quake. Think about what that means. The Bloop wasn't a monster. It was a continent of ice breaking, a single fracture loud enough to cross an ocean. And as the climate warms, this is a sound the Southern Ocean is making more and more often. Case closed. Except it isn't. Below 6,000 meters lies the Hadal Zone, named for Hades, god of the underworld. Pressure there reaches 16,000 pounds on every square inch. Almost no hydrophone has ever listened inside it. And the ocean keeps sending signals we have to name before we can explain. Julia, slow down. Both were eventually traced to ice, like the Bloop. But one sound, a slow rising sweep called upsweep, has been repeating since the early 90s, and NOAA still lists its origin as unresolved. If you dropped a microphone into a Hadal Trench tonight, you would be the first human ever to hear it. And Point Nemo? We found a use for all that emptiness. It's where space agencies bring spacecraft down to die. Hundreds of them rest on the seabed there. And the International Space Station itself is scheduled to join them around 2031. The quietest place in the ocean is where we bury our machines. The ocean, meanwhile, is not done talking.